My wedding was in October, and even though I had known that I had wanted top surgery since very early in my transition, I wasn't ready until March of 2024. Since it was really important to me to be a couple months healed in my new body at the time of my wedding, I had to act fast. The problem is that most of the surgeons covered by my insurance weren't scheduling for another entire year out, just for a consultation. To wait for that, I was gonna have to either sacrifice my dream of being comfortable in my body for my wedding, or I was gonna have to push back my wedding over a year, to a time when I wouldn't even know if I would have the same insurance. I knew there had to be a way to make it all work out, I just hadn't figured it out yet. When I did figure it out, not only was I able to go with my dream surgeon, Dr. Daniel Medali, but I was able to pick a surgery date only 1 month out from talking on the phone with the receptionist. Not because I had $10,000 sitting in a bank account, not because my insurance covered it, and not because my family was going to help me out. I scheduled it because I had a plan, and I want to share that plan with you because I genuinely believe it will change what will feel possible for you. Maybe your situation sounds like mine. Maybe you're one of many who is afraid of gender-affirming care being banned in your state before your date. I don't want you to go into crippling debt to pull it off. This is not a story about being lucky or having the right financial situation. It's a story about building a strategy out of nothing, using tools that are available to anyone, and choosing to treat gender-affirming care as exactly what it is, a financial goal worth planning for. First, let's talk about some real numbers. Your top surgery costs will vary depending on your surgeon, location, and what's covered by insurance. Here's exactly what mine looked like with Dr. Medali in Cleveland, Ohio in 2024. For the surgery fee, I paid $5,252. Because I put the cost of surgery on a credit card rather than paying with a check, there was a credit card surcharge of $157 put on there by the surgeon's office. After that, I paid $850 for anesthesia, and the facility fee was $1,562. The Airbnb I chose to stay at for recovery was $917 total. And to cover gas, food, and all of the other supplies I needed for top surgery, I rounded up my total number to $10,000. The hard costs alone came to over $8,700. I rounded up to $10,000 deliberately to cover supplies, gas, groceries, food during recovery, and anything else unexpected. That buffer wasn't paranoia, it was planning, and I'm really glad I had it. The other number you need to know, my emergency fund, which I did not touch at all to pay for this. Not $1. That was the whole point. I want to give you a little bit more context on why keeping my emergency fund intact was non-negotiable for me. There's something I see constantly in queer financial planning spaces. People treating their emergency fund like a piggy bank. They'll rate it for a big expense, tell themselves that they'll pay it back later, and then life happens, and later it never happens. I'm not trying to shame anyone who's done this before. I've done it too. But your emergency fund is not a savings account. It is your safety net. For queer and trans people especially, who are statistically more likely to face a sudden job loss, housing instability, and family financial withdrawal, draining that fund to pay for surgery means a recovery period with no cushion at all. Quickly after my parents cut me off for coming out as trans, I realized that I had to be my own safety net from then on. So protecting my emergency fund was a non-negotiable for me. I needed a strategy that let me pay for surgery and leave my emergency fund completely alone. Here's what I built. My strategy consists of 3 tools working together. The first thing I did was open a high-yield savings account specifically for top surgery. Not my regular savings, not my checking account, a completely separate account nicknamed Top Surgery, so that it made me feel something every time I opened it. A high-yield savings account, or HYSA, earns significantly more interest than a traditional savings or checkings account, often 10 to 20 times more, which is why my emergency fund also lives in its own HYSA. If you're still only earning fractions of a percent in interest by leaving almost all of your cash in your checking account or traditional savings account, you're leaving free money on the table. While I was building towards my $10,000 goal in the months leading up to surgery, through saving some of my pay and through fundraising, my money was able to work for me in a small but real way. Every dollar I set aside was also earning a little more on top of itself. More importantly, keeping the money I was saving for top surgery in a separate account from my emergency fund or my checking account means I was less tempted to dip into it, and I could see my progress clearly. My partner and I also drew a little thermometer chart which we hung in our kitchen so we could update our progress and look at it every time we were waiting for the microwave to heat up. Watching that number grow toward 10,000 was really encouraging and motivated me to keep doing our side hustles and fundraising gigs. Yes, I fundraised for my top surgery like I was saving for a church mission trip. If they can ask for money to go play colonialism, I can bake some sourdough bread for the trans agenda. The second tool in my kit was a 0% APR credit card. This is the part of my story that surprises people the most, because we're taught that paying for medical expenses with a credit card is a trap. And it definitely can be if you don't have a plan. I used the American Express Blue Cash Preferred Card, which at the time offered a $200 welcome bonus, a waived $95 annual fee for the first year, and a 0% introductory APR for the first 12 months. My partner and I both each had $5,000 in our emergency funds in our own HYSAs, which we had steadily grown over the past year. Instead of withdrawing that money to pay the surgeon directly, I put the surgical fees on my Amex credit card at the time of my appointment. I left my HYSA untouched, still earning interest, and then I paid off the entire card balance in full in under a year, using the money I had already saved broken into monthly payments. Because I paid it off before the 0% intro period ended, I paid 0 interest. The surgery cost me exactly what the surgeon quoted, and not $1 more in financing fees. Having our emergency fund set up already gave me a lot of peace of mind and made this whole plan possible. So if you haven't built yours yet, I'd highly recommend starting there before attempting to pay for surgery on a credit card. And I also need to put this disclaimer. Even in our situation, where we had the money in the bank that we needed to pay the full surgery cost, accidents happen, and using our emergency funds as emotional collateral to help us tolerate the risk of losing $100K into credit card debt was not foolproof. At some point, we were technically only one major hospital bill or car accident or a layoff without a new job away from carrying that balance into a predatory APR spiral of debt. The third tool I used was built into the credit card offer, and that's the welcome bonus and cash back that offset the credit card surcharge from my surgeon. This is a small detail of my plan that made this strategy feel smarter amidst my fears of worst case scenarios. My surgeon's office charged a percentage fee for paying by credit card instead of by check. This is common, and it's the thing that makes most people hesitate to use a credit card at a medical office, including me most of the time. But here's the math that changed the equation for me. The Amex welcome bonus at the time, $200 cash back. The cash back that I earned on the surgical charge itself, additional dollars back on the purchase. The credit card surcharge my surgeon charged, $157. The welcome bonus alone more than covered the surcharge. And with the cash back earned on top of that for the purchase of the surgery, I actually came out ahead compared to paying by check, while also getting 12 months of 0% financing. This is what I mean when I say strategic debt. Not reckless, not avoidance, a calculated move that used the tools available to me to get what I needed while keeping my financial foundation intact. And here's the part I didn't expect. I never canceled the card. 2 years later, the Blue Cash Preferred is still my primary everyday use card. It earns 6% back on groceries, which more than covers the $95 annual fee. So what started out as a surgery finance tool became a permanent part of how I manage my money, because I chose it intentionally, not reactively. Okay, now it's honesty time. I need to tell you what this strategy actually requires. I need to be real with you because I don't want to sell you some fantasy. This strategy works best for you if you have time to save before surgery. I scheduled my procedure only 1 month out, but I'd been saving for many months before that. That 1 month window was when I had my emergency fund already built. I also had a good credit score, which helped me qualify for the 0% APR card. Most of these cards require a good credit score, generally 670 or above. If your credit isn't there yet, building that is worth prioritizing, and there are other strategies for financing surgery in the meantime. This strategy also only works if you can commit to paying off the card before the intro period ends. The 0% APR card is only magic if you clear the balance in time. The reason this worked is that by the time I put the surgery on my card, I had the money to back it up. I wasn't gambling. I was executing a plan that I had already built. If any of those pieces aren't in place for you yet, that's okay. It just means your first step is building the foundation. And that's exactly the kind of work that I do with clients. Gender affirming care is a financial goal. Full stop. Not a luxury, not something you have to suffer to access, not something you should have to GoFundMe yourself through, though there's no problem with utilizing tools like GoFundMe to help. Gender affirming care is a goal, like saving for a down payment on a house or paying off your debt or building your emergency fund, that deserves a real financial plan built around it. You're allowed to be strategic. You're allowed to use the tools that are available to you. Credit cards, HYSAs, cashback rewards, introductory offers, same way that wealthy people have been using them for decades. Nobody gave you that roadmap, but that doesn't mean there isn't one. If you're here and thinking, okay, But how does this actually work for my specific situation? That's exactly what I help with. The Queer Money Map is my 7-month one-on-one financial coaching program, built specifically for queer and trans people who are starting from scratch and feel like financial security is for someone else. One of my core modules is Waypoint 4, your one big goal. And that's exactly this: building a step-by-step financial roadmap for the biggest, closest thing on your list, whether that's surgery or moving to a safer city or something else. You don't have to figure this out alone. I'm Elliot. I use he, they pronouns. I'm a certified professional coach and the founder of the Queer Money Movement. I help LGBTQ people build financial security on their own terms, without shame, without jargon, and without pretending that the system was built for us. You can learn more at my website, queermoneymovement.com, or you can follow me on Instagram. If you like this content, I think you should check out some of my other stuff. And please comment and tell me about your situation. I would love to hear about what goals you're saving for and what strategies and challenges you faced along the way. Thanks, and I love you.